Hi, I'm Christine, your pediatric feeding expert, and this registry video is all about baby-led weaning. So I'm going to go over different tools and things you can use that I would recommend. And I'm also going to talk, before we dive into the tools, a little bit about what baby-led weaning is and do we recommend it as feeding therapists, okay? So baby-led weaning, or BLW as it's touted online, it's a super popular approach these days to starting solids. It's where basically you are skipping the spoon feeding purees and instead teaching baby to feed themselves soft finger foods right out from the start. This happens at 6 months old, right? Starting it too early when they're really not developmentally ready for this, I think can backfire, right? So they really do recommend that 6-month mark, but we recommend the 6-month mark regardless. That's when I feel like it's and I shouldn't say I feel, that's when it's actually recommended. You will hear pediatricians say that you can start at 4 months with things like rice cereal. That's usually not recommended anymore. That's a little bit of an outdated piece of advice. A lot of times babies' guts are not totally ready for that. They're not really ready to sit up. They don't have the trunk support or the head control yet. So baby-led weaning anyway, 6-month start. I love this idea. We tried it with my son. I will say it was a hair stressful, and I'll explain why in a minute. But that idea that babies are taking control, they're leading the way, they're going to decide what they're going to eat, how much, and how fast, that's all very valuable for them to learn and do themselves. It's super powerful. So some of the benefits actually are that it does help develop their oral motor skills, like chewing and moving food around in their mouth. It encourages them to self-regulate, know when to stop eating when they're full, which is wonderful. Kids need to know that. A lot of times it can reduce, they say it can reduce picky eating because it gives them more control. It gives them early exposure to textures and flavors. However, we have had plenty of parents come through our program that did baby-led weaning and their kids ended up being picky anyway. But again, it's not because you doing baby-led weaning will prevent it. It's if they don't have any of those other issues that cause the eating challenges, then they can probably be successful. But if you still have something in those 4 pillars that we always talk about, gut, sensory, oral motor, and mindset, you still are going to have some issues down the line, right? Also, I'd say one of the biggest things is that it really teaches kids to trust their bodies. So a lot of times you'll see in videos and things like that online of baby-led weaning kids, they're gagging a lot, right? Which is normal. They're spitting it out if it's too big. They're learning their boundaries with food, which is really important. And I do know that baby-led weaning kids, the choking, chances of them choking do go down because they do develop these good, strong skills about, okay, I need to spit this out. I can't handle it. It's too big. They do learn that pretty early. So I do agree with a lot of the premises of baby-led weaning. That said, I'm also a big fan of flexibility, right? I don't think you have to choose baby-led weaning or starting with purees. I think you can do a little bit of both, right? So the textbook baby-led weaning will say no purees, never ever. But I think there's ways to incorporate purees. You can do things like preloaded spoons, letting babies dip into different puree types of dips with their fingers. You can get that variety then of textures and nutrients. You can even do some things like, mashed avocado alongside some of their finger foods, right? I don't think it has to be one or the other, but let's dive into some of the tools that I think would be really, really helpful for parents who want to do this baby-led weaning adventure, as I will call it. We have a whole different video about spoons, but if you are going to be doing preloaded spoons or baby self-feeding spoons, these are my go-to spoons. The NumBaby spoons are perfect for learning to self-feed. So I'm not going to spend much time on them because we have a whole different video about them that I will link. But here are some great things. And this wasn't around that I know of when I had my first baby, but it's on my baby registry now, is this Boon solid food prep starter kit, which I love. I love that it gives you a cutting guide, because that is always the biggest question. Like, am I cutting it the right size? So I love that you can put the food on by age. You'll know exactly what is an appropriate size. I love the daily amounts here. I think it is a super helpful tool, this Boon Divvy baby food solid food prep starter kit. There's also, just a plain silicone mat is fine. You don't need any plates or bowls with this, right? They're just learning to eat. I like that you could bring it with you. There's a few benefits here to this type of mat. But anyway, what am I looking for? The food cutters. I love that they have food cutters by age. So you can do the 6 month, and then when they get to 9 months, when it could be a little bit smaller, you'll know exactly how big to cut it, because you literally can use it as like a cookie cutter. I thought that was brilliant and I love it. So having tools like this can help, I think, baby-led weaning go well. So let's see, we went through that. Okay, baby-led weaning also gets very messy. Babies are making a total mess of themselves. They're getting it all over their face, their bodies, whatever. So baby-led weaning, I remember a lot of times we would go right to the bath after, but you can get these awesome bibs that really cover them really, really well. So especially if you're out, you might not be able to change them, but you want them to experience the food. So having a bib like this actually is so super helpful. Because then they can make the mess, but they don't have to become the mess. And yes, one of the other things I love is, especially if you're traveling, is a waterproof wet dry bag. So you can take that bib off. You don't have to go to the bathroom and wash it. You could just dump it in the wet bag, and then when you get home, throw it in your washing machine. So I love that. And I love the Splat Mat for baby-led weaning, because, you know, they've got food on their hands, they're throwing it, they're just like all over the place. So keeping your floor clean, this is good for keeping your floor clean. This is good for keeping your baby clean. And this is good for keeping your the contents of your bags clean after you leave wherever you are, if you're traveling. So those are some tools that I think would be super helpful for baby-led weaning if you were going to go that route. If not, if you're just starting the traditional purees at 6 months, definitely check out our utensils video, which gives you a really specific breakdown of what to use and why. And yeah, so happy shopping, everybody.